Okay, hi, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another free online lesson. Before we get started, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Hakim, and I'm the BIM specialist with acadsystems. So on today's topic, we will be looking at basic sofa rendering using Arnold. Arnold is a default renderer for 3ds Max. So since 2016, 3ds Max Autodesk has acquired Arnold to be their default renderer. Okay, so on the previous topic, I had covered on how to model a basic sofa in 3ds Max. So just in case if you haven't, if you miss out that session, you can just go on to our YouTube channel and then check out on that video. So today will be kind of like a continuation on that, but if you're already using 3ds Max, perhaps this is like an introduction for you for the Arnold renderer. Okay. So in rendering, we basically gonna look at some of the basic elements, how to set up the lights, and then how to put in materials on our sofa, and also adjusting our environment before. These are all basic elements to set up the rendering, and then we will render its final product. So we will be starting off with something like this sofa. Okay, this is just a default color and the shapes, and we will be creating something like this on below here. Okay, without further ado, let's go into 3ds Max. So I have my 3ds Max open here. Okay, so this is a simple sofa. See, so I have this ready. All right. So perhaps I want to open all the viewports. Okay. Okay, first thing I would like to set the view before we render it. Okay, to set the view, I will have to place a camera. Okay, so we go, make sure we are in the create tab, and then click on the camera. Okay, just click on the cameras. Okay, then there will be three kinds of camera that you can choose. So I'll just I usually use the target one. Okay, perhaps it is easier to go to a top view. So I'll set this to top. Okay, then I'll place my camera. Just click once and then drag it to get the target. Okay. Then we can use all these viewports to adjust our camera, the placement of our camera. So by using this gimbal, just click on it and make sure this move is selected. Okay, and then you can move the camera and also the target. This is the target. Okay, so just make sure that this pyramid thing is basically our view range. So make sure it covers all. Okay, and then for this one, I'll change this to the camera view. But first, I will turn off this show save frames. Okay, and then cameras. As you can see, this view has been created, camera 001. You just click on it, then we get our camera view. So you can further adjust your camera until you get your desired view. So something like this works for me. Okay, that will be the camera. So next I'll be focusing on this view. So I'll maximize the viewport. Okay. So like I said earlier, Arnold, they support interactive rendering. So while you're working on this project, you can check on the rendering. So there's actually active sheet using Arnold here, which you can turn on, but it takes a lot of your, I guess, your rendering CPU like space takes that a lot. So I just don't want to risk that on our live. So alternatively, I can use this render frame window. So I'll just click here, and then it will give us a render preview. Okay. So while working through this project, I can click on render, and it will update to what changes we have applied. Okay. So just keep it here first. The first one, I'll be placing some lights. Okay. So we can go on to the create tab again. Okay, create, and then we click on the lights. Okay, so you can just after clicking on the light, make sure Arnold light, click on Arnold light, and then you can place the light. Maybe it's not visible in this viewport, so let's turn back all the 4 viewports and then go on the top view, and then again, like the camera, you can maneuver your placement of your lights. So you can place multiple lights. So first I would place something like this in the middle. Okay, perhaps a little bit higher. Okay, so this will be our first light, and if you click on it and then click on the modify, okay, from here you can change some of the settings. So for example, the most important one is type of the light. So right now it is a sky dome type light. Okay, we will test few and we'll see what are the difference. Okay, I'll just place one light first, and then let's go back to our camera view, and let's try to render it and see what kind of changes this light had made. Just click on the render up here. Okay, it will take some time to render. Okay, so it will give us something like this, not much different from the previous view. Okay, let's try on, just to show you the difference, let's try on another type of light. Again, click on this, go on to the modify, and then let's try on the quad. Okay, so quad is basically like a squarish kind of light. This is the source of light. Okay, you can set up the spread, can give it like a 10, and then this is the quad size, it's 150 by 150. Okay, and then you can put the color. So just to test it out, I'll give it like a yellow color. Sorry. Okay, give it a yellow color. And then you can also use some presets, and then the temperature. of the light. So if it's higher, it will be like a more cool light, a blue light. Okay, and then there will also be the intensity. Okay, so you need to play around with this. There is no exactly right or wrong to it. So just play around and then look at the output of the render. Okay, again, I will test it out. Render. Okay. So as you can see, previously it was a sky dome light. So it's apparently it's more I can say like a skylight. Okay. Now it's a quad light on top of this, so you can see that it's shining over our sofa here, but it is still very dark. Okay. Perhaps I want to create another light, so I can just use the existing light. Make sure move is click here, and then hold on shift and just drag. Then it will give us a copy. Okay. So for this, I will make it. Okay, just click on this. This window will show up once you copy it. Okay, just leave it as it is. Instance. Okay, you can give it a name if you like. Okay, for this second light, I would make it as a sky dome. Okay, and the color I'll make it the sky color, which is white. Okay. All right, the intensity, I'll just leave it as it is, and let's see how does it turn out. Yeah, so obviously it's much more brighter now, but I feel like it's a little bit overpowering our point light. So I want to have this cool lighting effect where there's like a downlight on our sofa, which is in a yellow color. Okay, so for that, I'll modify this light again. I'll just give it a 0.1 intensity. Okay, 0.1 intensity. And for the first light, okay, for the first light, I would make it a point light. Okay, the radius, I don't know, just give it a 10 mm. And then the color, I'll give it a yellow color. And then for the intensity, I will give it like a 30. Okay, so let's see how does it turn out. Yeah, this is more like what I have in mind. But perhaps the intensity of our sky dome light should be a little bit higher. Okay. So I think copying it by instance have made these two lights similar. When I apply these changes to this light, and it will also apply to the other one. So that is not what I wanted to do. So I'll just delete the second one, and then I'll just go on and create another light. Okay, click on the create tab, light, and then another light. Then I'll place it somewhere here. Okay, then go on to the modify tab, click on the second light, and then for this one, give it a sky dome. Let's just check if these two are different. Yeah. So apparently, if you copy by instance, it will duplicate exactly like the original one. Okay. So for this sky dome, I give it a white color, and then the intensity would be 0.1. We'll test this out first. Okay. Again, render. Yeah. So this is more like it. Okay. But perhaps I want to copy this light. So I want to have identical light. So I'll just click on it and then hold on shift with our move. Just use our gimbal like here, then drag it to our desired place, and then this one be like here. Oh, sorry. Control Z, because I wrongly picked the source of light. So I should be picking on this. So just move this one first and then hold on shift, copy. Okay. Just make sure this one is on top of the left and right part of the sofa. Okay. So now let's again see how does it render. Yeah, that's more like it. Maybe you can always revisit this lighting and its edits and its presets once you apply the material, and then you think that the light should be brighter or and whatnot. So you can always go back and then edit it. Okay, for next, we will look at placing the materials. Okay. So I'll focus on this view. Okay. So I click on this sofa. So apparently now the sofa is grouped together. Okay, you can just go to the group tab up here and then click on ungroup. Okay, so now you can select the objects individually. Okay, I accidentally moved that. Okay, to start on with the material, so you can, up here you have a material editor. Okay, the shortcut is M, so you can just hit on M. Okay, so this is what the material editor looks like. Okay, so I want to apply a leather texture on our sofa basically. So the first step would be I click on this diffuse. On the right, there's like this little box. So you just click on that. Okay, it will give you this material and map browser. You just scroll down. You have a lot of options here, but the one that we'll be looking into today is applying bitmap. Okay, so just click on bitmap, then okay. Right. So I have this saved on my folder. Okay, this texture, this ladder texture. So I can click on it and then click on open. All right. So I know this settings looks very intimidating for first-time user, but just focus on the basics one first. Okay. So now you have basically bring in the ladder texture into our material. So if you click here, and once you do that, it will give you this bitmap settings. Okay. If you go back, you click on to go to parent, it will go back to the previous window. Okay, here. Right. So you have placed that. So you can play around with all of the settings. Like if you want to have it glossy, okay, you can just apply some gloss on our material. Okay, so you can also apply the bitmap on ambient here. Okay, so let's try. So I've done some changes, very basic ones, and let's try and place on our cushion here. Yeah, click on one of the cushion and then have this selected, and then click on assign material to selection and just click on it. Okay, as you can see, the ladder texture has been applied onto our cushion. Okay, so let's click on this and then go back to the bitmap. Click here. Okay, as you can see, this texture is rather large now, so you can rescale it by editing this offsets, tiling, mirror, and the angle. Okay, so just play around with this until you get your desired result. Okay, or you can also use real world scale. This will give you like an perhaps it's easier. Okay, so for the size, it's probably too big. Okay, something like, I think 0.8 works for me. Okay, I think this is perfect. So you just play around with that. And then you can go back to parent. Okay. Yeah, so it has applied on one of the cushion. Okay, so you can continue on applying to the rest, but because of our time constraint, I will just apply the same thing to all of these cushion. You will see that the scale will be a little bit off, but yeah, if you want to apply it to each and one of them, you can just create a new material. Okay, so what I'm doing now is selecting all of the objects that share the same material. Okay, and then make sure this is selected and then assign material to selection. Okay, so this is what I said, that the texture will be, the alignment of the texture will be a little bit off because I just applied to all. Okay, and then for this, for the legs, I will just create a simple material. So I click on this one, and then at the diffuse color, I'll give it like a black color. Okay, perhaps this is a steel and then it's a little bit glossy. Okay, you can play around with this. Okay, and then I click on the object and then make sure this is selected, assign material to selection. Okay, then there we have it. So right now, let's again see how does it render. Okay, click on this render frame window and then render. Okay, so I want the light intensity from our point lights to be greater. So let's go back to our light. Click on these two lights. So, and then at the intensity, I'll give it like 70. And let's see how it turns out. Okay, so maybe a little bit more on the intensity of our sky dome light. So 0.2. Okay, I think that will be enough. You get the point how you can change the settings of the lights, and you can always go back and revisit and make changes. Okay. And lastly that I want to show is the environment. Okay, let's go back to this view. Okay, if you go to this rendering tab, you just click on it, and then you'll find environment. Just click on it. Okay, so you can play around with the environment. Environment means the setting of the place, the setting, the background color. Okay, so just click on this, and then if you like a white color, so you can change it. Okay, or any different color, you can just change it like that. But for this purpose, I like the dark background, so I'll just turn it back to black. Okay, and then for the tint, you can also apply some tint to the environment. Maybe the environment imitates an evening sun, so maybe the tint will be like a little bit yellowish. Okay, so you can control that similarly like the background color. Okay, so let's see how does it renders. Okay, not much different because I use the same background color. Okay, but you get the point. If you prefer another color, you can always change that. And also, I want to show that you can also use environment map. So for example, HRDI images, like if you make a house perspective and then you want a sky environment at the back, you can place this environment map. So you can click on this, and then at the none, click at the none. Then again, choose bitmap. Okay, so I have this EXR file for our background. So I'll use that. Open, and then just click on OK. Well, of course, you can play around with the exposure and stuff. Okay, that will give us this background. Okay, so right now the placement of this background is off. So how do you edit that? So for that, you need to go back to your material editor, and then you open your environment and effects window as well. So you can drag this and place it on a material. Okay, so instance, okay. So it will create the environment material here. So from here, then only you can make changes to it. Okay, so for example, offset, it will kind of rotate. Okay, and then this will be like horizontally. I mean vertically. So you can play around with this and get the best placement to your scene. Okay, so you can use mirror and all of these settings until you get the best view. So just assume that will be a bit lengthy if I want to get that perfect setup. But I think I've shown you how you can edit that. So lastly, you can just click on the render frame window. Or before that, I would also like to show you this render setup. Okay, so these are the render setups that you can specify, like the size. Okay, so maybe I'll like an 800 by 600. Okay, so this is the renderer. Make sure it is set to Arnold. Okay, then you can also click on render from here. Okay, so it will render. Just give it some time to render. Maximize this. Okay, so let's say we are happy with our render now. So if you like to save this image, you can just go up here, save image, and then give it a name, and then save as whatever type that you like from here. So for example, JPEG. Then I can click on save. So this is the quality and the image size. Okay, for the file size, click on OK. Then it will be on my desktop. So far. Sorry, did I save it on the desktop? Okay, no. So desktop so far save. So here is our final render image. Okay, so I hope this session will be a good introduction for you on Arnold with 3ds Max. Okay, so let's see if we have any questions. You can just type in our chat if you have any questions. Okay, while waiting for that, I would like to show you our website. Okay, just go to your Google and then acadsystems.com. Okay, so this will be our company website. So from here, this is our homepage. You can get our latest news on promotions and stuff that we have. And then if you scroll down, this is the section for our free online lesson. So you can check out the future topics that we will have. Okay, and then book your reservation. Just click on the topic and then RSVP your place. Okay. As you scroll down, you'll find our training schedule. Okay, and then you also can go check out our Facebook and also our YouTube. Okay, just click on this icon. It will bring you to our YouTube channel and maybe give it subscribe. So all our webinars, our free online lesson will later be uploaded here. So over time, we have an extensive library on all sorts of topics that covers most of the softwares that Autodesk have. Okay, so you can just check it out and probably learn something new from us. Okay, so we have no questions here, and I think that will be it for our today's session. Thank you very much for joining me, and we'll see you again next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.